Good evening. Welcome to TV3 News Journal. I'm Carla Beard. Winterfest, a two-day downtown festival on December 2nd and 3rd, was a great success. We caught up with Amanda Falk, one of the organizers, on Saturday.
Things are going great. We've had a line at the Santa House all night. We've had lines at both of the carriage houses all night. The Johns Brothers General Store has been very busy, and everybody that I've talked to said that they've got a good flow of people. Everybody's happy. Everybody's having fun. Something new this year, one of the things that's new is the live music. We had Eric and Lynn Adams, and they brought one of their students. And another new thing this year, we have live reindeer. We've never had that before. They come from Whitetail Acres, and we have 2 live reindeer right next to the Santa House, and they are so fun to watch. So we have the Johns Brothers General Store. It's a pop-up store. I think they have 6 or 7 vendors, as well as the farmers market in there. They're going to be running limited hours, and it's going to go around the train hours. And they have a Facebook page if you'd like to check them out, the Johns Brothers General Store page. So I would say we'll probably have 40 to 50 vendors total with everybody. So it's amazing. So the food trucks are new this year. We have Friends of Fred food trucks this year with us. We had 3 last night. We have 2 tonight, and they will be back for Celebration in the Ville as well. We'll have 10 to 15 trucks. I just want to thank the community for supporting us, everybody that came out, everybody that gave time or donated money to make all this available, because it takes a whole team of people to make this happen.
The holiday season is often difficult for people who are grieving. Pastor Frank Oakman invites anyone who is dealing with grief to a special service at First United Methodist Church. He talked about the service.
Well, December 21st, we are hosting for the first time a Blue Christmas worship service. A group of people that are often overlooked at times, especially during this time of year, are those who are grieving, those who have that empty chair around their table for the family celebrations. And as a pastor, we do our best to help them along prior to the death, during the death, but we also have a responsibility to help those continue to grow with healing and wholeness after the loss. And so this celebration will be able to provide those with that. But not just personal loss. We live in a time where there are a lot of suffering going on, nationally as well as internationally. And the truth is, we have families that are nationally and internationally, and we suffer with them. And so this also gives us an opportunity to offer that suffering to God and to find some peace during that time in this world where it really is needed. You don't have to be a member of First United Methodist Church. You don't even have to be a United Methodist. In fact, you don't even have to be a believer in Jesus Christ. If you struggle with this time of year, if you find loneliness being a tough time during Christmas and the holidays, you are invited to join us on the 21st at 7 p.m. here. And it is for one and all who comes, family members, individuals, whoever needs an opportunity to let go of any grief, let go of any suffering that they may deal with, and to try and receive hope and peace during this time of year. Our goal is to offer healing and wholeness in a time that should be joyful and a time of celebration where others seem that it's really a downer.
That's December 21st at 7 p.m., First United Methodist Church, 729 North Central Avenue. The concert by Lynn and Friends has been a Connorsville tradition since the 90s. This winter's concert played to a packed house.
So thank you so much for being here already. I wanted to tell you that on the 18th day of December, 1994, for those of you who were on planet Earth, because I see some who weren't there, we had our first Lynn and Friends at Alpine United Methodist Church with...
I'm so pleased with the amount of people that came today. It was a very good crowd today and a very responsive crowd. The weather was great and all of our cast showed up ahead of time, and so we're really happy to be doing that.
Well, Lynn and I go way back. When he taught at the high school and I taught at the middle school, he taught choir and I taught band. So we were brothers through the music department.
Really, I like how Lynn just kind of sculpts the entire program. So I like how he is able to blend all of the different instruments and narrations and everything together to make this beautiful program, and he just does an amazing job of that.
Well, Lynn and Friends, there's two each year. There's the Christmas and then there's the patriotic one during 4th of July. It's coming back home. We'll either do them here in Connersville or at Richmond, but Lynn is as much responsible for me having a career in magic as anybody. He was the one that told me when I was in high school playing drums for his show choir that if you really want to make a living at this, you can do it. He was right. He didn't say it was going to take 30 years, but he was right. So Lynn is one of those teachers. There's only a few that I've been able to stay friends with throughout my life, and anything I can do for Lynn, of course, I'll do. And it's good to come back to Connersville.
So I don't know what Rick's going to play. I don't know what Rusty's going to do. So we just I put together the list, and Ann and Kim and I rehearse, but they don't necessarily know when they're going to do what.
The Crossroads Brass Band also shared their talent. Local musicians Lori Dickerson, Les Miller, and Barb Quante participated.
Yeah, so we are the Crossroads Brass Band of Indianapolis, and we've always had a very strong connection here in Connersville, so it's our pleasure to be playing our only holiday concert of the season for you.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Now here's Brad Coulter looking back.
Hi, I'm Brad Coulter, and this is Looking Back. Born over 211 years ago in 1810, Sherman Schofield came to Connersville early in the 19th century from Connecticut. His travels came by way of Westchester County, New York. He was one of 5 children of Sylvanus and Ruth Reynolds Schofield. He was married to Elizabeth Milner, who passed at age 32, delivering their 6th child in 1849. He was then married to Eliza Ross for 12 years. He had 4 sons and 5 daughters. Sherman Schofield was one of the best of his time. He built many of the finer buildings of the mid-1800s in our city. One of his better works was the old City Hall on Court Street. It was a 3-story building that housed city offices through the late 1980s. Mayor Lynn Bastian moved City Hall to its present location. It also housed the city police, fire department, and several fraternal lodges over its 140-year history. Through constructed and contracting enterprises, he accumulated great wealth for his time. In 1855, he was named a director of the Connersville branch of the Bank of Indiana. On January 5, 1857, he was elected a director of the Whitewater Canal Company, a sign of his great standing in our state and city. But by the fall of 1857, a financial setback had hit Mr. Schofield and many others. The Panic of 1857 came about after several years of great growth in our economy. The railroads and real estate had performed extremely well for some time, causing most to continue to invest all their capital in growth and expansion. This brought about a bubble in the economy, not unlike the dot-com bubble and the housing bubble of our times. Sherman Schofield had accumulated a net worth of nearly $60,000 by late 1857. This was equivalent to $1.5 million in today's money. The panic completely wiped out his whole fortune, as he had many loans due to construction projects he was involved in at the time. In all, he lost everything except his beautiful home on Tanner Street, now West Western, near Harrison Street, now Fifth. It is this home still standing that is his legacy. Schofield House was built in 1847. Nearly every landmark we now know was built in the shadow of this fine home. Sherman had an unobstructed view of the canal boats being pulled down the canal from his front porch just 300 feet east. From the cupola, or garret, atop the house, the sights that have come and gone while it still stands are quite daunting. The canal, 8th and 5th Street schools, Andre Opera House, and most gloriously, the McFarland Hotel are just some of these. It even stood a solid quarter century before William Newkirk decided to construct a new fine home on the hill overlooking the city. It was standing strong when a young man named George Stant started his first shop just down the street. Quite a story that house could tell. The panic of 1857 and financial ruin was just one of Sherman's problems. In 1860, he lost his wife Eliza, leaving him with several young children to raise alone. He was also a severe asthmatic and with just barely adequate resources to raise his children. It is said this was the beginning of nearly 100 years of Schofield House as a boarding hotel guest house property. Sherman Schofield lived another 17 years until 1877. His funeral at the Christian church was packed with the appreciative benefactors of his life's work. His children, scattered all over the country, lived well into the next century. His youngest daughter, Leona Schofield Hackelman, lived until 1935. She was killed in a horrific fire at her home at 923 Fayette Street. She had just returned home from celebrating Christmas with her family and set herself on fire while trying to light the kitchen stove. She had thrown herself on her couch trying to put out the flames. The couch had burned through the floor and was found in the basement. All the blinds were closed, and it was said much time had passed before the fire was known to the neighbors, who set off the alarm. After Sherman's death, the house was lost to the Schofield family. In 1882, it became the property of the Cassidys, and it remained with their descendants until 1937, when the Carl Fisher family purchased it, and it became a guest house for local industry. For nearly 40 years, it was used to house salespeople and executives who were visiting local factories. In the 70s, it became a home again and has passed through several owners. Looking forward, it seems to be well cared for and likely to last many more years. Schofield House has seen many great times locally and some bad ones too, but it still stands stalwart, looking to Connersville's next great day.